YouTube. Welcome to Jackie's Little Corner. I am Jackie, and since I'm filming this on Friday, I guess I could call this a Friday Reads, even though I normally don't do that. And also, it is Memorial Day, Memorial Day is coming up, and it's gonna be my bookstore that I can walk to. It is gonna be closed starting tomorrow through Memorial Day. It will open again after Memorial Day. So I was either gonna go today or I was gonna go on the 29th because starting Sunday I'll be working. Sunday and Monday I'm working again. Sunday, Monday, and I guess Tuesday also. I'm gonna have to look. So it might actually not be Wednesday, but Tuesday I'm off. I'll have to double check on that. But and then I'm only off one day this week, and then I work again after that day as well. So I figured let me go today, and even if it wasn't closed tomorrow, I wouldn't want to go tomorrow anyway because it's Saturday, and it's the weekend, so kids are off from school, so everybody's gonna be there unless I go like early in the morning, or maybe late in the evening, like around this time. But anyway, so I have a book haul, but let me go ahead and update you. I don't have a lot to say. I did finish reading Dusk yesterday, which I really enjoyed. Again, I noticed that a lot of Filipino literature does have a bit of a sadness to it, a bittersweetness to it, where, but that one was like this: the family gets kicked off their land, and this is when Spain took over. So the Spanish priest was like, I don't like you anymore, and you have to leave. And so he kicks all the main character Istak's family and all the people in their village, kicks them out, and he burns their village, and they are forced to travel to find a new home to live. And they meet, of course, a lot of dangers because, it's the Philippine Islands. Unfortunately, there's a lot of wildlife that can kill them, and they don't have a lot of food and water, so they are trying to just survive, just to find a new place to live. And Istak is kind of questioning his beliefs now, and he's not sure if he believes in God anymore. And this woman, Dallin, who becomes his wife, he met her, he and his family met her after his brother and Ano saves her, when he finds her, and she is trying to escort her much older husband who has just died, trying to escort her to some place where she can bury him. And Ano, what really made me not like his character is he was all like, I saved her life, so she belongs to me now. That's what he tells his brother, because he can see that his brother and Dallin are drawn to each other, and she's more comfortable with him, and they do end up together. And so she kind of helps him restore his faith in God, and helps him in this crisis of faith that he has. It's a beautiful story about a family just trying to rebuild themselves and their relationship with God and with each other. It's a very good story, a good starting point, a good starting book for this series. I do have books 2 and 3 in a bind up. I can actually show it to you. This, which I believe you already seen this book. It's has books 1 and 2 in it. The book 2 being Tree, and book 3 being my brother, my executioner. And I did not know why this is cheaper than getting Tree by itself. But it was on Thrift Books. This was just getting this bind up was cheaper. I mean, at least it's paperback. I mean, I have many exceptions though and gotten hardback books. Like the book I recently just got in the mail is a hardback book. Wish I could show you that one as well. I may as well, since I'm also excited about this. I did put on my Amazon wish list, but I ended up not receiving it for a birthday gift, but that's okay because I ended up buying it myself. And it was actually on discounted. So it was cheaper than it originally was when I first looked at it. So this is, as the title says, The Letters of Tolkien. And it's a revised, expanded edition. So it has, I'm guessing, a lot more stuff in it than the original one had. I was hoping, though, there would be something, if I remove the dust jacket, there'd be something on the naked hardback, but it's blank. Just has the title on the spine and everything. So, but that's okay. It's still a, great book. Of course, I'm sure if I had got the paperback, then probably the paperback would have had the same picture on it. But I think they could have done something really, really cool and put something on the naked hardback. But I don't know, maybe that was just too expensive for them to do. I think that's why they don't always put stuff on the naked hardback, because unless they're just selling the book without a dust jacket, it's probably gonna be more expensive to do some design on the hardback. But I do love those when I see those, like especially the ones that come in Fairy Loot with a lot of fantasy books. They always have you get a nice surprise when you take off the dust jacket and there's this really cool design. Like for instance, King of Scars and its sequel, which I ended up never reading, and that one had a really cool design when you took off the dust jacket. I think it was like the emblem of, I can't remember the character's name. He's one of my favorites and I don't remember his name. But anyway, so this is all the letters that Tolkien wrote, and a lot of people were saying in the reviews, and what you can read in the description is it's basically like reading his biography. You get a lot of information, a lot of what he was thinking, where he got his ideas and stuff. So I think that was really cool, and I really wanted to get it. So I'm kind of on a Tolkien-obsessed mission where I can get as many of his books as possible. Like, I want to get his Letters from Santa as well, that he wrote for his kids. I would love to get that. And, of course, like, Baron Lúthien, a book on, that's one of the most famous couple next to, Aragorn and Arwen. And also, I believe that he and his wife were the inspiration for those two in their love story. Or at least he was thinking about him and his wife when he wrote that. Something like that. But I am so glad I have this. It's really fun. I do want to get his biography, and I think this author Humphrey Carpenter wrote an actual biography on Tolkien, so I'd like to get that as well. I mean, basically my goal is to have a Tolkien shelf at some point. So yeah, I got that. That was my most recent purchase. But anyway, this contains the two of the sequel novels. I don't know how many, like, there's like 5 or 6 novels, I think, in the whole series. So as good as I can read books 1 and 2, books 2 and 3 right away. Right after the other. The only thing that keep me from reading book 3 after I read book 2 is myself with putting this down and not reading the whole thing. And actually, this book is another book by the same author, which I need to, if I can remember, I will have to ask my grandmother if she knows how to pronounce this author's name. I know the Jose part, but his Soinil, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. This is another book by him as well. So I have officially 3 books by this author, I believe. I think just 3 right now. But anyway, so now I decided to go ahead, because I'm kind of in the back of my mind, I'm also thinking for summer reads, like adventure, travel type stories. That's what I'm thinking. And now this is a nonfiction, but it's about this famous historical figures and traveling adventures. And that is Marco Polo The Travels. And I guess it's basically about, kind of like him, talking about his adventures in all the places he went to, and what the places, the cultures, and what it looked like, what these places look like that he traveled to. Um, I don't really know a lot about Marco Polo. I just know that he's from Italy, obviously, going by his name, and he did a lot and like you said, he was a famous traveler, and everyone. And then there is a pool game that you play that's called Marco Polo, where you basically have to someone closes their eyes and is trying to touch other people while they're saying, with their eyes closed, saying Marco, and then everyone else says Polo, and he or she has to try to catch that person. That was my only familiarity for when I was a kid who Marco Polo was. Just made me think of the game. Which I'm curious how they came up with that. Like, who came up with that game? Like, how did that start? I'm curious. Like, I mean, I know he would have traveled by sea, but and he was looking for all these different places and exploring. So I'm just curious how they came up with the game Marco Polo. There's a Geico commercial about that, where not explaining the game, but you have the real Marco Polo who's in a pool with a bunch of kids, and they're playing the game, and they do have, they say it, how you're supposed to, and he's like, I'm right here. I'm here. Marco Polo's right here. It's cute. I like a lot of the Geico commercials. I mean, not some of them get old after a while, but some of them are cute and funny. But anyway, so I'm reading this. I've read a little bit. I've read the introduction, which kind of explains things a little bit, and then I read the prologue, which talks about his father and uncle and how they were merchants and traveling between countries and between the Middle Eastern countries and going back to Italy and to talk to the Pope. But they kind of weren't 100%, but then one of the original Pope that sent them had died. So they had to wait on another guy, and it took way too long. I mean, at the last minute, the new Pope came to be, and he was able to tell them. And his father comes home, and his wife is dead, but she has left him a son, Marco. So, and I started to read, and he ends up being the Khan ends up really liking Marco, and he ends up getting a messenger for this guy, and this Khan does not want to lose these guys. He wants to keep them around, so every time they express wanting to go home, he's like, nope, you're not going home. You're gonna still work for me. But yeah, it's interesting because, like, I mean, anytime I don't know, but I'm curious about something, I'm always gonna say it's interesting, because I can't think of a better adjective than interesting. I did this morning before I left, while I was kind of watching the dog, watching Murphy. I did read a little bit more of Marcel Proust's Swann's Way, and these first two sections are basically talking about the main character's childhood, and his parents were basically socialites, and Swann was this guy that they knew, that his grandmother knew his father or grandfather or something, and it's just talking about his life growing up, and his different experiences and his observations of the world around him. It's like basically reading this guy's diary, the first two parts, or journal or whatever. Although, when it comes to guys, I always had this idea of guys keep journals, girls keep diaries. I mean, as I got older, I know that's not true, but when I was a kid, that's my mentality was. But anyway, so it's I'm definitely not confused as I am with some other books, like reading what's that one book? The one that I'm currently in the middle of, and I put down, the Secret Museum of Abandoned Secrets. That one can be confusing at times and hard to follow. I do think if I can get this one, I might be able to one day try Virginia Woolf. and I might be able to get into her work. Because if it's like this, and I read it at the right time when there's no distractions, and I'm very comfortable and relaxed, then maybe I can get into it. Like, that's my biggest problem with the reading like stream of consciousness, is I need to read it at a certain point when I'm comfortable, I'm relaxed, but not like I'm falling asleep, not necessarily when I'm tired. So maybe in the morning when I'm just getting energized, and when there's no distractions, no other voices, and if I turn off the TV, or at least maybe sit outside or something, and like I couldn't read this in the car, like traveling to and from my grandmother's or my sister's, because just I would be distracted by the radio, the talk radio that my mom and dad love listening to, and and then I would try to listen to music, but then because I don't have any non music that doesn't have lyrics. I mean, well, there is some instrumental stuff on there, but it's like soundtracked. I have thought about downloading like a classical, but I'm trying to not like to get a gift card, only download when I have a gift card. But yeah, so but I'm liking this so far. Like I said, I just needed to read it at a perfect time and place. I almost bought another one of these NYRB books. Like I saw two at the Rose Office today when I went, but the premises didn't appeal to me. One of them was The Boy in the River, and it's this young boy who gets, he's been told by his parents not to go in the river, but he ends up going and gets taken by the tide, by the current, and he ends up at this village of Romani people and befriends one of the young boys who is his age, and I think they end up being encountered by this river god or something. So it has a little bit of magical realism, I think you would consider that. And it really talks about nature. So it sounds like if you're a fan of Walden's work, then you probably will like it. But I mean, I'm not buying. I didn't read, and even I didn't buy it, so I could be wrong. But that's from what people said in the reviews and stuff. That's what it sounded like. But a more kid version of it. And then I also I almost got this other one called Spoons and something else. Spoons and something. And it was this young housewife, young woman in her 20s that marries an artist, but he doesn't want to really help financially and pay the bills, and she's kind of stuck. And it's kind of one of those it sounds like it's like going through their day-to-day life. And I think somehow she ends up finding a way to make money for them. Like, that's the impression I'm getting. But anyway, and of course when I'm hesitant to buy, I look it up to narrow it down, because I still try to stick to only getting 3 books. I only spend $12 at the most at that bookstore. And I'm not getting them. I don't know what, the only reason, oddly enough, I really like these editions. The aesthetic of them, like the cool covers and this and everything. I don't know why. I think I like how it looks. So I like to get more of these, but I also am not just going to collect them for the sake of the cover. I want to be pulled into the story, and they just didn't sound interesting to me. Because it would be one of these things where, in the end, if I didn't like the story, I wouldn't keep it anyway. I mean, Anglo-Saxon Attitudes I didn't keep, and I actually thought the story was okay. I actually liked the story. I just wasn't interested in, I figured I wasn't going to read it again. But I do like collecting these. I don't know why, I just like the look of them. So that's where I am in Swan's Way. I have not picked up Native Son. I did start reading it last night. And apparently from what I've looked at this, and this is a perennial edition, when I reread the back again, it does say that some of the stuff that was taken out of the original publication was put back in. So I'm guessing it was stuff like, oh, we can't have that. That's bad. We can't expose people to that. We can't show that, so we have to take it out. One of those kinds of situations, I'm guessing. And I did not realize that book club had been around since the 30s. I thought it was a new thing. But I guess because people learn more about it now, with the internet and everything. And the only way you would have learned about it before is probably like magazines or newspapers. And I don't even know if you could buy the books that would be labeled book club, book of the month books. But this is this kid, Bigger, he feels like he just can't catch a break. His mom and sister are on his case about getting a job, and he feels like the world has, given him a really bad deal. He is obviously a young black kid who just feels like, the white people treat him unfairly, and he's been basically given this raw deal, and he has this very negative mentality, and he's on this downward spiral of getting into a lot of criminal activity, and he and his buddies are talking about stealing from this white man who runs like a store, like a convenience store, I think it's a convenience store. And he's kind of hesitant to do it. He's like nervous about doing it, so he's hoping his buddy will, his name is Bigger, by the way. Bigger, the main character's name is, Bigger's hoping that one of his friends, this young kid who he can, is also a little nervous about it, hoping that he'll get him out, but saying, I'm not doing it, and he'll use that as an excuse. But he doesn't want to admit that, so he's giving his quote-unquote friend a hard time and treating him like badly and giving him a hard time for acting, being a chicken about it. And I'm saying, fine, I'll do it. I'll just be the lookout or whatever. So that's as far as I got right now. It's like he's so like angry. This Bigger kid is so angry at the world, and he can never, like you said, can't catch a break. And he's all this rage building inside of him. All this hatred and but anyway, so it's really good. On a personal note, books that are written like this, the only problem I have is how the book is written. Like, I have to find a page break where I can stop, because I don't like to stop in the middle if I have to stop. Like, I'm being called to go do something, or like I have to leave to go somewhere, and then I have to stop reading, and there's like no, there's like the page breaks are like spread apart. Like the first section is called Fear, and then there's, let me see if there's a table of contents or something. So, okay, so there's book 1. Book 2 is on page 95. Book 3 is at page 271. How Bigger Was Born was 431. And then you have all the notes and stuff on the text, which starts on page 463. And there's not a lot of page breaks. So that's kind of frustrating. Like if I get called away or something, like I have to stop reading. I don't want to stop in the middle. And that's kind of the same thing I run into like with Stream of Consciousness in this book, Swan's Way, where I have to find a page break to where I can stop, see if I can get that far in my reading, and before I need to take a break. But this is really good so far. And hopefully I will be able to get this done soon. It might not happen before the kid's birthday, I don't know. Although they might be coming to visit here. That's what it sounds like I heard. There's a golf camp in my my parents and sister agreed, sister and brother-in-law talked about signing them up for the kids, sign up the kids for golf camp, so, and so it's like they're gonna be staying here for a week, which will be really cool and fun, although it's gonna be stressful, because, it's gonna be stressful though, probably, but still, it'll be fun, to have the kids stay here for a longer period of time. Although, I wonder if that means I won't get as much reading done there that week. Probably. Anyway, so I'm reading. So yeah, I haven't read any of this today, but I might read it tonight. I might read it this evening, like after dinner or something. Now on to the actual book haul. My Memorial Weekend book haul. So, by the way, they always offer bookmarks. I debate about picking one up. But they are free, because there are the paper bookmarks and they're kind of small. So, and I'm not the biggest fan of those, but they're kind of pretty. So I like the designs. They're handmade, so that's kind of cool. I could punch a hole in here and put a little string or something there, but I've been having trouble with the strings for the ribbons I got for for my Van Gogh bookmarks, and then the tassel ones, they probably take a lot of work to put together, and then they fall out anyway, so I'll just keep it the way it is. Yeah, that's really pretty. Let's see, this is the other one, the last one I got before today, with the pretty flowers and everything, so there might be books I don't mind, but anyway, I'm gonna put these here. But yeah, it's kind of fun and impressive. These people made these. Okay, so like I said, I stuck to 3 books, so I don't end up spending more than $12. First, I got this, The Wings of the Dove by Henry James. Oh, is that part of the design? I can't tell if that's part of the design or... it might be part of the design. I don't know, because I can feel... But I have one other Henry James. I used to have, that one Henry... I used to have another Henry James book that's pretty famous. The Portrait of a Lady, I think it's called. I used to have that at Mass Market, and at the time I was like, I'm not interested. But I've been trying to collect other Henry James, so now I have 2 Henry James books. So it says on the back, The Wings of the Dove dramatizes the conflict between 19th century values and 20th century passions. Born to wealth and privilege, Kate Croy's mother threw it all away to marry a penniless opium addict. After her mother's death, Kate is offered an opportunity to return to the opulent lifestyle her mother gave up, on one condition. Kate must renounce the man she loves, the witty, good-looking but poor Merton Densher. Reluctantly agreeing, Kate finds herself becoming friends with the world's richest orphan, Millie Thiel. When Kate learns that Millie is dying, she devises a plan of dizzying possibilities for herself and Merton that should solve all their problems, but instead leads them down a path strewn with tragic, unexpected consequences. So, I think he's one of those authors that, 1900s authors, because this was first published in 1902. But yeah, the premise sounded interesting, and again, this is another cover design another classics edition that I like. Yeah, I like how each of these Barnes & Noble books are a different color, and they're still, nice looking, and they're not cheap looking, they're not small, they're a good size. Let's see, are there any? There's a section for further reading. There's still plenty of there's still plenty of notes and stuff like that in these editions. And they are still cheap books. They're not cheap in how they're made, but they're cheap books usually. So I like these. So that is The Wings of the Dove by Henry James. He seems to write about, like, classism a lot in his books, I feel like. And, you know, at least that's the impression I get. So he's another author I need to finally start picking up his books, because, like, I have 2 of his books already. So okay, so the next one is, okay, so this has the same title of the Kristen Hanna book, and it's the same setting, funnily enough, but the premises are very different. Okay, this is The Great Alone, and I don't know how she got away with, how Kristen Hanna got away with giving the same title name and both of these books setting in Alaska. But they are very different premises. I think The Great Alone, Kristen Hanna's book, is set in Alaska. I have to double check on that. But this is a family saga. Like I said, I want to get more into family sagas. So this says, well, she was born in 1944 and died not until she died in 2013. Okay. Spanning 200 years, the saga of romance and adventure in the untamed Alaska wilderness begins with Tasha Tarakanova, a beautiful, newlywed woman, and her beloved Andre, a noble, ambitious Cossack hunter. From their union come 7 generations proud Alaskans, including the beautiful Marsha, who finds her fortune as a legendary madam, and Wiley Cole, who bravely defends his homeland during World War II. Glorious and Grand, The Great Alone is a story of brave young men and women whose dreams, heritage, betrayals, loves, and fortitudes are as vast and wild as the land from which they sprang. But yeah, the fact that they have the same title, they're both set in Alaska, has got to become very confusing for people. So the author of this one is Janet Daly. And obviously this one came first because, you know, the woman died in 2013, and The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna recently came out, so. But at least I need to double check on that, because I don't want to, get anyone in trouble or anything, and confuse anyone. And then the last book is one of those awards books that I've looked at the library, and I thought about borrowing it. It's a book that, what is her name? The woman who played Daenerys in from Game of Thrones. What is her name? I can picture her. She was also in Me Before You, and I think she was in one of the Star Wars. Not Star Wars, Marvel movies, and I can see her face, but I cannot remember her name. But anyway, I think she liked this book as well. This is The Overstory by Richard Powers. I also believe that someone in the Goodreads group about Gilmore Girls said that recommended this as a book that they think Rory would read. And the structure of this one is very odd from what people said. Like, the first part of the book feels like a bunch of interlinked short stories, and then part 2 is a completely different thing. So I'm hesitant to buy it, but I wanted to try it, and it's not like it would be like reading, not like with Stream of Consciousness, where the writing style would confuse me. But I thought I would try it, and plus I'm only, it's only $4. I'm only spending $4 on this individual book. So if I just got this book, I would only be spending $4. And with a book like this, I feel like I would want to take my time. And if I got it from the library, which I don't even know when I'm going to go back to the library. There's another book that I was thinking about getting, The Dictionary of Lost Words. I keep thinking about getting it. But I'm still not sure yet. I Emerge doesn't want to read. So I was like, I can get it from the library, and then I realized, well, I haven't been to the library in a long time. I still haven't decided if I want to go back to the library, start using it again, going to the physical library. Of course, watch. By the time I decide to go back, it will be around the time that they've redone it, because they are planning on redoing it, making it bigger, this way. so that it's, well, actually they might be making it bigger this way. Either way, hopefully they're making it bigger. And they have to move the location. So, and it looks like a book that I could. The Dictionary of Lost Words looks like, in as far as length goes, a book that I could get from the library and try out, but I haven't decided to go back yet. I keep thinking about it, but I never do. Of course, if I was gonna go back anytime soon, it would have to be soon, like the next few days or whatever, like right before. I mean, I don't know how long it's gonna be because, the U.S. Open is gonna be in June, and I don't know if like right after they're gonna start doing stuff with the library, because they're waiting until after the Open, because with all these people coming for the U.S. Open and everything, they're it's just a lot of the changes like that have nothing to do with the the aesthetic of the golfing community. It's like that one's not as important, wouldn't be as important to the golfing community, the library, the public library, as it would be to the people who already live here. So it's one of the few things that they're gonna wait on, and plus it would take too long. Anyway, I think it's probably more about that it would just take too long to do it. So since I can't get it done now and finish it now before the U.S. Open, they're gonna wait on it. But anyway, I haven't gone back yet, but I have gotten stuff from the library. Like I've listened to audiobooks, and I have Tom Lake on hold by Ann Patchett. It hasn't come yet because there's a lot of people wanting to read it. So I have not got it yet, but I have 9 weeks. I'm just hoping I get it before our next little trip to my grandma's, which will be, I think will be coming soon, will be happening soon, so. Sorry, I got notified by my watch. Anyway, so that is my book haul. My last book haul for May, right before, and that is what I'm currently reading. So I guess you guys won't see me until June, which I will probably use June as the month, since it's the middle month. I will give you stats update on how my reading is going for the year so far, how I feel about it, and the progress I've made on my goals and stuff. I'll start filming all those videos in June. But anyway, if you guys like this video, please click subscribe, give it a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you want to be notified when I upload videos, click the bell icon below. I hope you are enjoying your reading, and I will talk to you all later. All right, bye!